certainly redressed the balance so far here. It was 21-0 at half-time in that game, 12-all here at the Halliwell Jones at half-time. Admittedly, that was a full-strength New Zealand side, but this, it has to be said, is a New Zealand side with plenty to play for. Their nation heading, they hope, for the Tri-Nations final at Elland Road at the end of this month. Places at stake still in Brian McLennan's side. But they're up against a very spirited England team who have matched them toe-to-toe so far here. And matching them toe-to-toe for another 40 minutes is going to be the big question for this England side. It is a big, bruising New Zealand outfit. And here's the biggest bruiser of them all, Joe Vangana, taking them up to halfway. But that is, again, good defence from this England side, and whether they can keep this up is the question. Now Willie Poaching, getting his chance after so many appearances for Western Samoa. Willie Poaching with the Leeds Rhinos for another year. Robbie Paul, now a giant. Motu Tony. Joe Vangana, oh, that was a lovely dummy from Big Joe. He's going backwards, but they're going forwards with Ali Lauatiti stopped just short. That's the 5th tackle. Robbie Paul is there. England regrouping, and just a little stray pass which gives England a bit of time. Hodgson under pressure here from the kick. It's a great kick and a great try from Jake Webster. Well, Lance Hahaya has struggled to impress this afternoon. He is, of course, playing for Stacey Jones's place, but that was a great kick, and again, great finish on the kick for Graham Norton's side. Perfect start to the second half for New Zealand.
You couldn't find a better way to begin the second half than what the Kiwis have just done here. From the very kick-off, really, they went forward, even found an offload in the first play of this second half. And then on the back of that, well, came to the last tackle. They got the ball to the man who kicks it most accurately for them, Lance Ohio. He put it exactly where it needed to be. And James Webster just put himself where he needed to be to take the kick. It's a perfect beginning, really, to the second half. Great kick here, and even though Hodgson's in the right position, can't get up in the air, and Webster takes it. Massive disappointment for England.
Jake Webster got two tries against Australia earlier in the Tri-Nations competition. Certainly a man in form. Lance Hahaya then with this conversion attempt from out wide. I think he's drifted that one in front of the posts. It's a lot to live up to, the mantle of Stacey Jones.
Pretty good play by the Kiwis, and it just shows you the difference at times, the composure. It wasn't the best pass, but Fa'afili, the fullback, didn't panic. He looked to see where the man who is out there to do the job, and that is the halfback, Ohaya. And it was a superb high kick and an even better take by Webster. They've impressed me, these two Kiwi wingers. Webster, Fatavai, very, very strong indeed.
All that extra work we had to do in the first half, Mike, we did very well to go in at 12-all. All that extra work we had to do in defence might just start now to take its toll. You know, Big Joe Vangana then just strode through the middle of that set and literally did what he wanted with the England players. The signs could be ominous if we don't get amongst them and start knocking them and keeping them back deep in their own quarter.
Frank Pritchard with a storming run there for New Zealand. Let's get half-time news down to the sidelines. Chris Warren.
Well, firstly, with England, there's no injuries to report of. Calderwood looks fine as he's running freely. Coach Carl Harrison, he said that he was pretty happy with the first half performance. He'd like to see them get back to their game plan. A couple of times they strayed from that and get some of their structure back in attack. He particularly wants them to get to the end of their sets and really maintain and put some pressure on the New Zealand team. For the New Zealand team, their coach Graham Norton, pretty happy with the first half performance. He was disappointed that they didn't finish off a couple of sets and kill a couple of good opportunities in the first half. They had plenty of possession on the England line and didn't come up with the points. Also, they'd like to continue getting to the back end of their sets. I spoke also to Brian McLennan in the halftime interval. He also was talking to his boys in the sheds at halftime. He's very, very happy with his two wingers on this tour in Jake Webster and Manu Vatuvei. Webster now 4 tries from 4 games. Vatuvei last week, of course, at London denied twice. He scored already on this occasion. He looked to be limping, actually, Manu Vatuvei, going into the dressing rooms at halftime. He looks fine now when he came back out. And on the injury front also with Ali Lauatiti, he is A-OK.
Well, in between, that was a great defensive set from England to close Lance Haya down when he was looking for the kick option. It just wasn't there. They did really well to rattle the New Zealand scrum half. So they withstood that challenge. Now can they pose a challenge to this New Zealand team? But they did well, the New Zealanders. Thormann's grubber kick eventually picked up by the big man Vatuvei.
They showed enterprise, didn't they, in the kick, but this is where really now they need to find some energy. When they come to defend here, they need to somehow match what New Zealand throw at them. Big fellas falling forward. There's been some good technique work, trying to turn the Kiwi, dominate that tackle. But it's hard with the size and the speed with which these guys are coming at England.
Paul,
if you compare the last two sets, one for England and one for the Kiwis, the Kiwi team worked very, very well to set up the right man to kick the ball for the big jump from Webster to get over the top and to come up with a score. England top end of the field, it's a kick for himself off Chris Thormann that nobody really got to and you know, caused any problems on the back off.
Haya has got away this time. That was the gap he was looking for, but he couldn't find Henry Fa'afili with the pass. And the referee will bring it back. But it was a great sniping break from Lance Haya.
Well, that's always the problem if you do get one player to try and put kick pressure onto Ohio. It was John Wilkin on that occasion. He got on the outside of him, the defenders were behind, and he penetrated the hole. Luckily for England, he managed to find a Kiwi handling error.
Was that a generous decision from the referee, Jason Robinson?
Well, it certainly looked that way, but the one thing about this fella, Lance Haya, he is building in confidence. We posed the question before the game started, Bill. Could New Zealand click into gear without Stacey Jones? And I think it was important that both the coaches realised that this guy has to start taking them on. And that shows you that he's got the confidence to do that.
Paul Wood, the man with no number. England have run out of numbers by the look of things in a clean shirt. And Robinson puts the kick in under a little bit of pressure, but gets a good kick there, finds a decent touch just to put New Zealand back deeper in their own half and relieve a little bit of pressure. And what England don't want to do is to allow the New Zealanders to build up sustained momentum. If they can just keep them at bay.
Paul, do you think that suits England or New Zealand more, the ball going out of play?
It'll suit the Kiwis at the moment because they've got the game by the scruff of the neck. They can take a little bit of a breather now just to suck a bit in because you know something's going to come on the back of this set. England can't afford to be too adventurous, Phil, and check the risk of tossing up too much easy ball. So it's a hard balance. I'd just rather see that ball go into the in-goal area where England can push up hard. They can chase, they can use that energy, a little bit of footwork in there, and maybe take some juice off the Kiwis.
Robbie Paul, there's Big Joe again. First New Zealand call-up for 5 years, and he's making the most of it, is Big Joe Vangana. 25 caps previously for his country, and he's made a big impact on this game. He was on a beach in Turkey, enjoying an end-of-season break when he got a phone call telling him that he was being called into the New Zealand squad. Well, it looks as though he's turned up, meaning to make the most of it. Frank Pritchard now. One of the maybe next generation of the New Zealanders to come through.
Well, he looks like a 400-metre athlete, doesn't he, when he comes on the ball? Great athletic stride.
Ali Lauatiti, little chip kick. Oh, and Stephen Wild managing to retrieve the situation. It looked as though the ball had got away from him there. Is he held? Well, he's kept the ball alive. Now then, who's the penalty going to go to there? It's going to go to England, says the referee, who says that the player was held. Fatuera is the man penalised. Trying to get to his own back then because he was dumped into touch very early on in the proceedings. In fact, I think it's happened to him twice.
A late call from the referee to give England the penalty. It might have even been better to let Mark Calder run on with it.
And another penalty goes England's way. And the beast is loose. Manu Vatuvei just losing his cool a bit there. He's still a teenager, but you wouldn't want to tangle with him.
Let him go.
Great play by Alka. He knew that the men had made no attempt to get back into the 10-metre mark, and he knew he's a clever player. Been around a while, Alka, and he knew that this guy was making no attempt to get back. A little bit slow in getting the penalty from the official, Jason Robinson, but it came eventually. It's up to England now to just slow the game down. Don't panic.
All the way back, all the way!
Through the sets of 6 and make sure they get that consecutive set. Little kick into the in-goal area.
Bill, it's taken them 10 minutes for England to get possession this second half to attack New Zealand. They must use it fruitfully.
Crabtree and the Wolves supporters finding their voice. They're hearing good numbers, the Warrington public. They've turned out to support this game. And they're hoping that England can get back on level terms as Thorman pops the ball up. First real opportunity of this second half to examine this New Zealand defence. Paul Wood, Robinson, but he's dragged to the ground by Willie Poaching. They've lost a couple of metres there. Wilkin pops it up. Mathers back on the inside, and Lee Radford was never going to be able to take that.
Off England first, New Zealand 3.
And England concede possession.
Give Louis Anderson some credit there, didn't he? Tracked across, worked from the inside when the ball had gone past him. Put himself there, marking Lee Radford had he taken the ball. Referee's given the Kiwis possession from an English handling error. Oh, great footwork there by Webster.
Lovely step from the wingman. A quick play the ball. And England struggling to regroup as Ali Lauatiti makes good yards and is then dragged to the ground on the 40-metre line. Bit of desperation in the England defence at the moment, trying to keep these New Zealanders at bay. Frank Pritchard again. He's seen plenty of action in this second half. 4 of them to bring him down. Crabtree was leading the way. John Wilkin in there as well. Motu Tony now. Willie Poaching. Poaching, that's very characteristic running style. He's lost the ball. And it's a knock-on. And Jamie Jones-Buchanan was right in his face there and pats all round. Paul Sykes, Paul Wood as well.
Well, they're having to work very hard, aren't they? They're forcing Poaching backwards. It's come up with a mistake with some good aggression in defence.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan looks to the touch judge. Come on then, surely. Yes.
Seconds down, boys.
You can't knock the character of this England effort. You know, it's a little bit short on quality and execution at times, but they're having a real dig at this. If they make a mistake, they roll the sleeves up and get stuck in.
Thorman with a half break. Wild, oh, that was dangerous. And Calderwood fortunately retrieved the situation. Fatavai all over his back. There's a real clash of styles there with big Manu Fatavai, who is a bruiser of a wingman, and Mark Calderwood all pace and trickery as well.
Well, Crabtree's doing what England definitely need, isn't he? He's tending to go forward before they start to do anything in possession. They'll establish a platform to work from.
Here is Thorman once more, and Thorman, popped that ball over his shoulder, looking for Richie Mathers, but it went forwards.
Well, at least it's inventive, and that they are trying something. They've got the confidence to do it. He knew that there was going to be someone there, and it was the full back, Richard Mathers, but just drifted forward.
I don't quite know, Mike, whether the third tackle was the time to put that play on. You better, you know, just pulling it in a little bit, get to the top end of the field, work a kicking goal, just pinch a little bit of juice. There's a big Kiwi side.
That's the type of player he is, though, Paul, isn't he? You know, Chris Thorman he can break down a defence because he'll do something like that early in the tackle count.
Wilkin spun away from that tackle with a bang in the face from one of his own players. I think it was good work from Sykes and Robinson again. Paul Sykes, an unsung hero in this England side, getting through plenty of work. The London Bronco, I should say Harlequin now. Here's Robbie Paul. Sniping run from the Huddersfield Giant recruit. Once a higher now. Farfili pops it up. Oh, big tackle on Paliasina there. Needed to be. Radford was in there. Hahaya puts the kick in. And Mathers is going to have to watch this one. Well, he does well there. Fatavai was chasing it. Calderwood was shoulder to shoulder with him.
What was the magic? 5 plays off the ruck, all one out, and a kick in the corner and a chase. You've got to build pressure. You don't want to be tossing the ball over too early.
So England are still hanging in there. They conceded that try early in the second half, which has given New Zealand the lead again. Just 2 minutes into the second half, in actual fact, but They've steadied the ship once more.
Play on!
Now here's Stuart Reardon, the man they were calling for at half-time. Reardon, who was a Great Britain player last year, has been a bit on the outer this year, not just internationally, but at the Bradford Bulls as well. Injury has played a part in that, and now a Warrington Wolf, or will be next season. They're on halfway, and Thorman puts a better kick in. That is a good kick, and Calderwood is chasing it, and Farfili is dithering. Now then, did he push that ball into touch, Farfili? And the referee, I think, is going to have to consult the touch judge on this. And Farfili got a touch, and he was just caught napping there. It was a great kick from Thorman, and Calderwood is out to impress.
Well, it's almost worth 2 points, this, Paul, isn't it? Because it's a half a chance here now to get a try. Look at the pressure that he put under Farfili. He's touched possession and he's touched the sideline.
The quality of the kicking game, complete. Put the pressure on with the kick, get to the top end of the field and force the issue. Get the ball back, and you've got to do something with it.
Can they do something with it now? Richie Mathers, it's opening up for England now for Hodgson, and it's paid off. David Hodgson gets the try. The scores are level again. An enterprising play from this England side. Thorman's kick, Calderwood's chase on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, the other winger, David Hodgson, dots the ball down. Well, England rewarded.
I've seen 1 or 2 good tries from scrums by Warrington at this ground this year. Here's a pretty good example of one from England. It's great to see a team prepared to move the ball when in a good attacking position. That's exactly what England do here. Here's a kick through, and all a result really of Mark Calderwood's enthusiasm here to chase this ball. Even though Vatavai tries to push him out the way, he won't be denied, and he helps his teammates to come up with a scrum. Good pass there, the ball out the back there. Eventually the defenders come in, and the ball over the top allows Hodgson to score in the corner. You can see here now the lift that this has given to the England side. Mathers drifts across, just delays the pass until he's committed the winger, and then when he knows Hodgson's got space, releases the pass.
It helps if you've got the right man in the right position with the right player. You don't need a hooker kicking the ball directly to a fullback to return the ball on you. Chris Thorman's got a very, very good kicking game. It's long, it's accurate, and that was inch perfect. The right men doing the right job, and you've got a chance.
And Thorman, is he the right man for the job here? Another difficult kick from the touchline. Oh, a whisker away, but England really are standing toe-to-toe with this big New Zealand side, and it's 16 apiece.
Jake Webster's done some good things in defence, but we see him here circled. He's far too far in field. He's coming to take the man. It allows space for Hodgson. And then what a lift here now for England. Going into the final quarter, Steve-O, it's game on.
Certainly is, and full credit to them. I've been calling for the fact that it's very difficult to break down the Kiwis down the middle. We saw there just a link from the base of the scrum. Perfect rugby league football, finished off in style. And if you can catch your defence, you slide in defence, 2-on-1, and that's what they did. You had a stroll in.
David Hodgson making his first England appearance. He's won 3 Great Britain caps previously. And then the kick is out on the full. And Motu Tony hangs his head because he's committed the cardinal sin.
I thought maybe Chris Thorman might have let to kick at goal, but here, no, they want to go on with it. They've got some momentum behind them, and that is a superb kick to touch. Far too often in rugby league, people waste that opportunity to take up space.
Well, the crowd might not be quite on a par with the 25,000 or so who were at the JJB last night, but they're certainly lifting. Mind you, New Zealand are lifting now, and that's Earl Crabtree, who's lost 10 metres there in the big gang tackle, but Olka straight up the middle regains those lost yards. And England really are rising to the occasion here. Thorman now, a little bit of trickery from Thorman. Oh, great trickery from Thorman! And Thorman and Crabtree, a giant combination, have done it again. Just as they did against the French at Headingley. They have clicked at just the right moment, right underneath the posts. And Carl Harrison trying to bottle his emotions there. And Thorman and Crabtree combined.
Well, the one thing you don't want when you're defending in the middle of the field, a half-back's running at you, using a bit of footwork. That's what Chris Thorman does here. He takes on the defence. When you do that, you've always got a chance here. Here's the kick-off, the mistake from the Kiwis. Well, they've hit a bit of a bad patch. They'll be wanting to dig themselves out of this. But then the ball goes to Thorman, isolates the defender, steps back on the inside. Great footwork there to evade the fullback from Crabtree. Look there, targets Robbie Paul, comes inside in that inside flick. What great footwork from a 6'5" giant.
Great character from the big man, because he was picked up and unceremoniously dumped on his backside by three of the biggest Kiwis in the side, pushed him back 15 metres. It was a great play from Malcolm Alker to jump upstream from that ruck, caused the Kiwis to be all out of sorts around the ruck, and smart play from Thorman. Just stepped and went straight at him.
That is the type of player that he is. I often wonder when I see this guy play whether he knows what he's going to do next. And if he doesn't know, then how on earth can the defence know? That was pure magic. And also a wonderful step by the big fella, Crabtree.
He took far more responsibility, Mike, with that play than the previous one. Great footwork, and he knew his man was on the inside.
Well, has that roused the New Zealanders? It certainly looks like it. England ahead by 22 points to 16 after a sparkling move. Now then, can England defend this? Paul Wood looks to have picked up a knock there. John Wilkin puts the shoulder in.
This is one of those examples here now where the Kiwis have decided they're going to really turn up the heat here in defence to try and trap England down in this quarter. Look there, they've contained them to what, less than a 20-metre gain in 4 tackles.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan will try and find some precious yards for this England side. They're up to their own 30-metre line. Now then, Thorman with another good kick. Deep one. And Henry Fa'afili reaches out for it. Wasn't deep enough, wasn't wide enough. And already they're up to their own 40-metre line, are the New Zealanders. Fatavai. 3 of them to stop him.
It's amazing in the game of rugby league how sometimes when you come out after the restart, you find yourself, you score a try in the opening minutes, and it looked for all the world as though the Kiwis were just going to run away with it. And it sometimes can be negative. Out there, maybe the men in black, they thought, oh, this is going to be easy, but it isn't. And full credit to this young England side. They have taken it to it, and they fully deserve to have the lead.
Nearly 8,000 here at the Halliwell Jones for this game. That's lovely hands from New Zealand keeping the ball alive. Webster takes the tackle, that's the 5th. They're on the England 20. Now then, Lance Ahaya will again give the ball a bit of height. This time Shontaine Happy goes up for it, and he gets it. Sykes gets it, it's gone back, and they're in the corner with Louis Anderson. But
who got to the ball first?
Who got first? Who made the first knock on? Because there was a knock on. So Jason Robinson again hands it on to video ref Steve Cross. Sykes goes up for it. Harpy is there as well.
Oh, that's pulled out by Sykes. This will stand.
Or did Sykes have it and was it pulled out by Harpy?
No, I think you'll find that Harpy finishes up with a ball, and as he's turning around, watch Sykes drag the ball away deliberately.
No, that's a knock-on. It's one-on-one. They're both going for the ball. He's pulled it forward. Can't be a try.
New Zealanders, I think, have conceded that because they're not lining up as though they feel they've scored the try.
On that second side. Now then, Harpy looks to have it. No. Harpy says he's got it. And watch. Now Sykes, to me, deliberately pulls it down. This is going to be a difficult one.
No, they both have a right to fight for the ball, and the big Kiwi has the last touch on it. That's gone forward.
Steve Cross, the video ref. This could have a crucial bearing on the outcome of this international. Has Louis Anderson got the try, or is it relief for England? It's England who get the handover. And there doesn't seem to be much disbelief in the New Zealand ranks there.
Great effort from Paul Sykes. He had the disadvantage. He stood still underneath the ball, and Shontaine Happy had a 4 or 5 yard metre, shall I say, build up. Great effort from Sykes. Got off the floor, competed, and he's come down with the spoils.
A real bit of cat and mouse going on there between Robbie Paul and Paul Sykes at the play the ball. Meanwhile, it was Sykes and Harpy who were contesting that ball, and the New Zealanders riled by that disallowed try. Charge into the tackle on Crabtree and force the knock-on.
Bill, this is exactly the reason, and the benefits from this game may come in years to come. The England players out there here today now are really put under a massive test. They're in the final quarter of an intense international match against some of the best players from New Zealand here and some of the best players in the world. Can they handle the pressure of this situation?
Great platform for New Zealand. Just a little bit misjudgment there as her highest pass forced Paul Fatuira to adjust his step and allowed England to close in on the defence. Bronson Harrison on the 10-metre line.
Tackle 2.
2 balls on the pitch, so referee Jason Robinson just calls a pause to proceedings. Now they continue, and Puliatua is held just a couple of metres short. Robbie Paul now, he'll go himself, trying to spin through the tackles, flips the ball out. They must be in here. Puliatua out the back door. Motu Tony is wrapped up by this England defence. They chose the wrong option there. 4 tackles gone. Can England withstand this pressure? Shantaine Harpy now. Harpy. Louis Anderson across the field. 5 tackles gone. Will surely be a kick from Lancer-Hire. They're running it. They could be in here with Bronson Harrison. The ball out the back. They are in the corner with Henry Fa'afili. Well, they took the long way round to get there, but the pressure built, and eventually England ran out of numbers, and Henry Fa'afili on his home ground gets the try that levels, that brings New Zealand back into contention. There's the knock-on from Earl Crabtree.
Well, they might say there was some interference in that, but you can't deny New Zealand deserved this try because they had to work so hard for it. England's defensive effort here on the line was incredible. Last tackle, they ran it, eventually squeezed in the corner. Look at it. They worked so hard off the line. They tried to contain, but again, the New Zealand offload is the killing factor. Fa'afili gets the try in the corner. Pressure on this kick.
Henry Fa'afili got a hat-trick against Great Britain in 2002 for New Zealand. And that try has brought New Zealand to within 2 points of England. And Lancer-Hire to level the scores here. From wide out, a difficult kick, he's missed it. But just the 2 points in it now. 22-20 in England's favour.
Call at the moment, do you really go and push the game now for England, push the offloads, push those pressure passes, or do you go back, grind it out, kick in the corner, chase, and put some pressure on the energy levels of the Kiwi side?
I think I'd probably opt for the fact that the way that Thorman is kicking into the corner, especially down that short blind hand side, and maybe just try to force the error.
Well, a crucial phase of the game now for England. Can they keep their nerve?
Well, perhaps a crucial aspect now is the fact that I think they have 3 changes they can still make from substitutions. We're not sure who's fit and healthy out there to take the field, but they may need those players because the remaining 15 minutes are going to be one hell of a 15.
That was a storming run from that restart from Palliasina. There could be problems though for England. Let's go down to the sidelines, Chris.
You talk of players that are injured. Paul Wood won't take any more part in this game. He's got a serious shoulder injury, left shoulder. He's got ice on it at the moment, but he's ruled himself out. So they're down to 16 men with 13 minutes and a half on the clock.
Paul Cullen winced when that news came up that Paul Wood had picked up a shoulder injury.
Well, he's a resilient player. He's had a couple of bangs in the past. I'm sure he'll come good through it.
Can England come good in the last 15 minutes here? They're still ahead, only just, and we didn't think, there weren't many that thought they'd be in this position, but what a great performance it's been, and Hodgson does well to take that ball. Anderson all over him. He really has been a very combative figure in this game, Louis Anderson. He's in there again, certainly making his presence felt.
Well, Richie Mathers needs some help as here. Whoever's taking this ball forward needs some players around them all.
Oh, Thorman. That went backwards. He's lost the ball, and New Zealand, I think, are in.
Well, that was poor play by England. They thought it was a knock-on, and they all stood still. You play to the whistle. He's gone upstairs to take this, but you can see there, they thought, oh, well, we've knocked on.
Yes,
That'll be
Fatuira has
given.
got that ball down.
Yeah. That was not the best offload. He's gone from hero to villain, and that will be awarded as a TRY. It was certainly lost. And good work by the centre, but very shoddy indeed by Chris Thorman to offload right in front of your own sticks. You don't do that.
Steve, I think it was the pass really that was a poor one to him. The tries awarded. It was above his head by the time he managed to take it in. Do you know, it's not amazing special things that win you games of rugby league. It's simple things. Passing accuracy, good catching of the ball. England have let themselves down. The game's not over, but the tide's turned against them.
You've got to have 13 men working to one goal in any set. And we'd lost the previous one when Big Earl Crabtree knocked on at the play the ball, and the Kiwis scored on the back of it, and we were pushing that ball wide, deep in our own quarter. Why, I can't work out at this moment in time. You've got to go forward and work behind the kick, because Thorman's been good at that today.
There it was. He just had to stretch up over his head, and Lee Radford looking tired, slow to respond.
You know that the defenders are going to come at you quickly because you're near your own line. It has to be a good pass, and it wasn't.
It's a shame that they should block their copybook like that, because it has been a really strong performance from this England. What a strong run. Palliasina, Wigan Warriors fans, look out. There's more of that to come next season.
The season ticket sales will shoot through the roof if they watch that run. God, he'll take some stopping next year in Super League.
Mind you, Paul Rahihi not involved today. He'll be running out in front of the Warrington fans next season. Look forward to that as well. Motu Tony now. Louis Anderson. Anderson back in field to Motu Tony. Mathers did well there, but paid for it. And they're in problem. They've got problems now of England. Shantaine Harpy away down that left-hand side. Sykes doing well to bring him down. Mathers is still down. Can New Zealand exploit the advantage here? Well, they come back in field and they had numbers outside. Great hands out the back, and then Calderwood is able to pick the ball up. Well, they had the opportunity there. Motu Tony brings down Mark Calderwood. That is a let-off really for England.
Well, they demonstrate some outstanding handling skills, don't they, at times? There's a kick on the back of it from Ohio. Who in the England jersey now can put his hand up and make a dent in this Kiwi defensive line? Who can get them rolling forward?
I don't think Richie Mathers is going to be able to. At least he's back on his feet, which is some progress, but he doesn't look well. Daryl Griffin. Shoulder to the wheel for the former London Bronco Academy player. And then Bronson Harrison brings him down. Olka. Here's Stephen Wild. Wild managing to stay upright in the tackle. Offloads to Ben Westwood. Westwood brought down on the 40-metre line, but that is the fifth tackle. Needs a good kick from Thorman. Little chip over the top, looking for Luke Robinson. Robbie Paul read the situation well. He knew what was coming. Farfili now. The try scorer who's given New Zealand the lead. A lead, though, they've really had to work for here. 10 minutes to go, and that's a bit lackadaisical. Puliatua just flops onto that loose pass in the end. Jake Webster, that's good defence. Mulca, top tackler in Super League once again. Little spat off the ball. Stephen Wild and Jake Webster. Meanwhile, Shantaine Harpy takes him forward. It's been a great contest, this. Plenty of spice as well. Robbie Paul. Farfili now. Nowhere for him to go. That's the fifth tackle. Motu Tony. Lance Hahaya, crossfield kick. Well, it was meant to be crossfield. Laatiti has got that ball back. He's lost it. And the referee will bring him back for the knock-on. That's a relief for England, in fact, because Laatiti, I think...
Great catch from Al Laatiti
He
there.
got up above Richie Mathers.
They've been great having the under the high kick, the Kiwis, when the ball's come down. Handling skills outstanding today.
Good mark for any coach when you look at those situations. Someone's got a challenge, and the Kiwis haven't failed. Not always come up with the ball, but they've always challenged. They're always in the face, bodies in the frame.
Well, who's got the legs in this last 10 minutes here? Have England got something left in the tank?
Just look at the defensive line speed, though, from the Kiwis, Bill. Flying up in the faces of England.
And very nearly coming up with the ball. Daryl Griffin had it dislodged, but Thorman was first to react. Hodgson gets away from one. Jake Webster slams into the tackle. Here's Daryl Griffin again. Griffin takes him on and takes him on well. But they're really struggling to get out of their own half now. Thorman, Luke Robinson. Robinson, oh, that's batted down from Lance Haya.
Taking a real gamble here, England. I don't think it's the time to go wide. Stay in the middle, stay on the rough stuff. Make sure Malcolm Alker jumps out from dummy half. There's some big men in the Kiwi pack, and they're getting a little bit tired. If you go wide, you take chances, and we were very, very lucky to come away with that one.
Seconds, let's sort it out, Kiwis.
So England get head and feed. They might get out of their own half with this set of 6. Here's Calderwood now. Can he find a hole in this New Zealand line? They know all about him now. 2 tries here today. Lee Radford. Radford bounces off the challenge and goes looking for more. Lautiti brings him down. They're still inside their own half. So here goes Malcolm Alker. Alker pops it up for Paul Sykes. Sykes was looking on his left-hand side for some support. Just shy of that 40-metre line in the New Zealand half. Jamie Jones-Buchanan now. The Leeds Rhino gets him a few metres further forward. Alker goes on his own. Sykes once more. That's the 5th tackle. It needs to be a good kick now. Thorman is screaming for the ball. What will he come up with? A little bit of magic maybe from Thorman. A crossfield kick, reverses it. That's too strong. No problems there for New Zealand, and Carl Harrison looks philosophically there, knows that the chances are going to be few and far between in the closing minutes of this game, but it's still only 4 points in it.
Easy kick, a hard kick. Reverse to the back angle without a chase, or a straightforward kick to 3 or 4 England players coming onto the ball, maybe putting some pressure on Henry Fifield.
Here goes Bronson Harrison. Another try, you feel, from New Zealand now would see off this valiant England challenge.
It's one they're working hard to get, isn't it? The power of some of the players coming on the ball. Great effort from England. They've got to hang on in here. They may get another chance yet. 6 minutes to go. Just got to do the work in defence, give themselves a chance when they get the ball.
Bronson, Robbie Paul is tackled. Lance Haya again gives that ball some air. Calderwood comes across the field for it. He's lost it behind his line. It's still behind his line, and it's picked up by David Hodgson. How on earth did they get out of that? They're going to be brought back.
Qualified as a knock-on there. Well, the one aspect that New Zealand will be quite happy is the very high bombs that Lance Haya can put up. It's been a feature of the game. It was a problem for this guy a couple of years ago, Mark Calderwood. And really, that's the first one that he's put down throughout this game. He raises the arm in acknowledgement that he has come up with the error. Still plenty of time to go, though, but this has got to be a good, deep drop kick to try to force the error now from the Kiwis.
Well, 5 minutes to go. And England have really done their jerseys proud here today. Unbeaten under Carl Harrison, and they've really tried their hardest to maintain that record. But Harrison, I think, has the look of a man who knows that time is running out and maybe energy reserves are running out.
Certainly no lack of effort, has it? Great attempt here now to prevent New Zealand from scoring one more chance.
Haya loops the ball across. Oh, and Sykes almost onto it. If he could have snapped that ball up, if only.
Well, a great opportunity. That was very sloppy passing by the New Zealanders, and he just got a hand to it. There was no one at home. Farfeli had pushed himself into the attacking line in the 3 quarters, and he would have raced away. Surely no one would have stopped him. That would have been a sensational victory, I'm sure.
Well, Paul Sykes knows just how close he was there to being an England hero.
But I agree with you, Phil. This has been an absolutely tremendous effort from the English players.
Here come New Zealand now. And it's the man mounting the beast. But they do well to stop him. He's really has been... Oh, and then they go without it. Well, New Zealand haven't been faultless themselves, and Henry Fa'afili acknowledges that point.
Come on, let's look at the body language of the English players. How quickly can they get the scrum formed? Are they showing themselves and their teammates that they've got the energy left for these last few minutes?
Would that be a play that you sort of deep down there? We know they've got the fastest man out there in Calderwood. Would we kick straight from the scrum base?
Graham Norton, who is in charge of this New Zealand side today, well, his side have really had to work for it.
And they'll be looking to get the quick men around the ball, not just to form the break, but to try and get some quicker play of the balls. That's where the New Zealand have dominated us, and unless we get a quick play of the ball here, England will struggle to get out of their own half. Crabtree's back on the field, maybe he's got the big play.
Ulker. Just short of that halfway line. 4 tackles gone, though. Robinson. Here is Crabtree, but they're there to meet him. They know about the threat of this big Huddersfield giant forward.
Now, going one out against the Kiwis is an invitation. The prey is getting out from dummy half.
Robinson puts the kick in, but Henry Fa'afili has time there to gather the ball. It's a good chase from Sykes and from David Hodgson. But coming up to 2 minutes on the clock. New Zealand trying to just see out the closing minutes here. They've had to work so hard for this victory. And if Great Britain were looking for some signs for next weekend for their crucial game against the New Zealanders at Huddersfield, then this England side have shown them the way. Fatuvai. Oh, he's through there. And Mathers bravely in the way. Robbie Paul, he hasn't got the pace of old, and Hodgson makes the tackle. But New Zealand poised to put this game to bed. They've got numbers out on the left here. They keep it going quickly. Poaching back in field, over the top to Lance Hahaya, and Hahaya gets the ball down, and that is the game for New Zealand. And it was the big wingman, Manu Vatuvei, who made the vital burst.
He's Billy's the new Eric Grothe. That was unstoppable. There was a steam train coming right down the middle of from Warrington Central. That was unstoppable. He knocked Stephen Wild out the way as if he didn't exist.
Oh, Wild felt that, turned away, clutching his left arm. Robbie Paul didn't have the legs, but they were there in the end.
Well, again, it's such a shame really for England here. 5th tackle try, great skill from New Zealand. They keep the ball alive. Everybody in the English shirts worked so hard to deny it, but ultimately you can only hold on for so long, and it's been a magnificent effort. But you have to give some credit here, poaching the ball back over the inside to Ohio, and he deserved his try for his efforts here today.
Well, your mind glances back to last night in many ways, is that the scoreline certainly doesn't reflect the effort that the English boys have put into it.
Well, Willie Poaching has the kicking duties for New Zealand. He's kicked goals before for Western Samoa, and this will mean an awful lot to him if he gets some points on the board for New Zealand. Oh, and he hasn't. Shades of Barry McDermott, I think, and his kicking abilities. Oh dear, I'll pay for that. But New Zealand ahead by 30 points to 22. As the hooter sounds, and a harsh scoreline, but probably a fair one in the end, because New Zealand just had too much for a gallant England side, but who matched them all the way, who had the audacity to lead at times. And England have done themselves proud here. Graham Norton, in charge of this New Zealand side for the day, knows that his team have really had to work for the victory, and it's been great entertainment for a crowd of nearly 8,000 here at the Halliwell Jones. Shantaine Harpy knows just how hard this has been for the New Zealand side.